I am Decathlon Gamer, and welcome to International Basketball Manager 23. This is a first look video. Thank you to Uplay Games for sending me a key for this one. This brand new release is set to come out in less than 24 hours, and let's take a look at it. Now, there's two main game modes that you have. One is your standard career mode where you coach the same team. You don't need to worry about reputation. That's your team. Or you can take the career mode that is more of your journeyman style, where you've got to make your way up through the ranks and your reputation as a coach is going to matter and you're going to move from job to job. But let's go ahead and just pick up a team for this first look video. 3 difficulty levels in game, from newcomer to experienced to professional, and I love how it scales accordingly, and it's quite clear here on this menu on what each of those difficulty levels is going to do. It has to do with the signing and selling of players. Manager points based on your reputation is scaled between the different difficulty levels. The team budget is scaled because of the difficulty levels. And then finally, away performance, where in low difficulty, home and away matches are identical in terms of difficulty level. In the medium, and then again in that higher difficulty level, away matches get harder and harder. Away games are harder and harder for your team to come away with a victory, meaning home court advantage becomes more and more of a thing. I like that. That's an interesting way of doing it, and it's clear what the different options will bring you. As I would always do in any of my games, even though I have not played International Basketball Manager before, I would always go for professional, so that's where we're going to head. With 14 nations in the game, 14 first divisions, and an additional 7 second divisions, if all are loaded, you're going to be playing with 687 teams and right about 10,000 players. Now, not all systems are going to handle that, but mine apparently is going to be at very good speed. That's that green circle just above my head there. And I like how the second division in the U.S. is the American Basketball College, as in the NCAA. That's a lot of additional teams right there. And you can choose which leagues to load, which divisions to load. You don't need to have all of them. If you want to just play with the NBA, American Basketball League, you can have just that selected. It's going to decrease the number of players in the database, but will allow your slower performing computers to handle it. If that's all you're interested in, that's completely fine. If you want to focus in on one nation, you can do that. Now, if I were to choose the ABL, I would absolutely go with my hometown Portland team. Here, it's the Portland Pioneers. Good look on the uniform for the squad and what we have here. Just kind of interested to see kind of what they rate everything as. And then on my alma mater side of things, the university I attended is the University of Oregon, and this is what we have for that one. Facilities are a bit underrated from what they actually have, considering Phil Knight of Nike is an alumnus himself of the University of Oregon. We have the best facilities in the country, at least on the football side. On the basketball side, it's fairly close to being the same. Brand new stadium as well, Matt Knight Arena, named after his son, of course. With a ton of leagues, nations to choose from, my options are relatively endless, but we are going to take a small team from a small nation and see where that puts us into the game, and whether the game has just that top end flavor or whether it does have some flavor down at the bottom end as well. So we're going to head back to my ancestral roots quite a few generations back, but we're going to head to Deutschland in Liga 2, and as in second division in Germany, with Kirchheim Untertech. And this is a 3-star local reputation team that their goal for the season is in the quiet area, meaning they aren't expected to make the playoffs. We're taking one of the smallest, if not smallest, team in the smaller division within Deutschland, and see, what we can do with this team. The arena, Sporthalle Stadtmitte, is as in the city stadium. 3,000 capacity, 1-star facilities, a reserve team level of so. Let's see what we can do with this team that has a little bit better defense than attack. So you get to choose your preseason matchups with a couple road and 1 home, and you can spend a bunch of money to do some travel and invite almost anybody that you want. But that comes at a cost of a couple $100,000, and apparently sponsor-wise, we only have $500,000 for the year. I don't think spending $200,000 of that on a friendly is going to work out too well for us, and I certainly don't think that we have the kind of reputation that's going to actually bring money in from that theoretically. We'll see if we can bypass that, because that doesn't seem like a good option. And sure enough, we can. Looks like those around have similar reputations as well, but definitely not quite as bad as our first timer in myself. And then across Europe, these are the continental competitions that are available to the top teams from the first division. Being that we're in the second division, we're not going to be participating in any of those, but these are those 3 competitions with 2 teams heading to each. And the game begins with a press conference. And my questions are timed, so I should probably get to it. Does getting results come above all else, or is it important to put on a show? Okay, I guess putting on a show is still something, right? What is your strategy to reach out to the players? We'll plan to keep them happy. Start of the team. I only just got here. I need to know them better to define my strategy. That's not a good answer. To keep them happy, get to know them one by one, find out how. What's your prediction for the current team this year? If we change certain players, I'm sure we do better this season. You never want to say, oh, we suck, we want to get better. To be honest, I don't know is probably an appropriate response, but we're going to have to go with optimism type result. Board confidence minus 15. Okay. They are very angry. So we have a board evaluation from the press conference. Fan confidence, though, is up, and so is the player confidence. And in this case, that's most important, but pleasing the board, keeping our job might be important as well, right? First things first, Division 2, and what we would expect here in Division 2 is that we have quite a few teams. I mean, it's not a small league by any stretch of the imagination. It looks like we have 1 automatic promotion spot, and then we have an 8-team playoff, presumably for the second and final promotion spot to get up to that first division, which is the ideal scenario. Promotion relegation is something that is totally missing from American sports, and missing in a bad way. Economy of the team, current financial situation, we have $400,000 in the bank. Our first team salaries is $278,000, and so sure enough, we need some cash, right? We're not doing fantastic in that department, but right now what we have will get us through the year. Will we have any additional income? You would assume so, but how much money do we make from ticket sales, concessions and whatnot, sponsorships, TV? I don't know if we're going to get any of that kind of money, so we'll find out as time goes on. But obviously we are in preseason mode, theoretically, with 3 friendlies coming up. Goal for the season is quiet area, and we're already in that. There is no bottom, there's no relegation out of the second division, so no matter what we do, we will accomplish that goal. Therefore, the board confidence will stabilize, I'm sure. So season tickets, the prices are something that you can set, so you do have control over what is happening on the economic side of the game as well. It's not all secondary. Looks like you have 3 types of ticket sales, from VIP to grandstand to general. Different ticket prices for each. We don't have a VIP section in this small 3,000 stadium. We also have our season ticket prices. Boy, that's That's not that expensive, is it? Compared to what you're paying down here. I wouldn't change this until I've had some experience in the game to know where you're at. If you suddenly up this and your sales plummet as a result, that would be pretty devastating. If we're selling out, then obviously you want to raise prices. Extended information shows that we have 2,000 general seats. We can add to that. We have 7,000 additional seats available. Grandstand has 3,000 additional, and we could get a VIP section of 1,000 seats. That's all in the lower tier stand. Second tier stand has its possibilities. Third tier stand as well. So right now all we have is this, and here you go. Enlarge the lower tier stand. It would cost 375,000 to add an additional 1,000 seats in the lower tier. 625,000 for the VIP. General is just 250,000. Definitely more achievable, but we certainly don't have much cash to be splashing around at the moment. And then here are the club facilities. So we have parking, enough for 1,000 seats apparently. So that would get you 2,000 seats. We have ticket offices, physiotherapy. We have video TV available, fluorescent lights, 200-watt spotlights. Additional 100-watt spotlights are available. Digital scoreboard, electronic scoreboard is available. No, we have that one as well. So we have 2 scoreboards somewhere in the arena, and then a ceiling scoreboard. And then we have a museum with trophies and jerseys, jersey numbers, MVPs, and then a ticket sales office is the next option. So what would that one cost? 220,000. If we were to get 2,000 seats worth of parking, that's only 50,000 and would only take 3 weeks. That could be a good start on things. So coming in as a new coach means coming in with new staff. Right now we have nothing, so there's your first task is to bring in some coaches and staff members, and that's quite a few spots to fill. I mean, that's what, 10 to bring in, so not going to be an easy start for us, as I would assume that there's going to be some money involved in bringing them in. Here's a first look at our lineup screen, where we have our first 5 on our bench and those who don't make the cut but are still on the roster. There's also suggested adjustments, like adding 4 minutes to the playing time for Daniel Lowe. Calendar view as we navigate things through timeline. I love that we have a U18 squad as well, so we do have a group of youths that are trying to make their way into the roster. You can see they're all 14, 15, 16, one 17-year-old player. Quick look at the sponsors. That 400,000 we have was their upfront investment, meaning we actually started from nothing. We have a bonus target for making the playoffs, and here is our sponsor interest levels. There are secondary sponsors, but we have nothing at the moment. Television rights are absolutely a thing that we can sell, but we have nothing at the moment. No basic investment, no length of contract. So we'll have to hope that something does come along as we get started on the season. Otherwise, that 400,000 is going to be it. So I've gone in and filled 4 vacancies for the staff right up front, and that's already a cost of 80,000 plus. I mean, slightly over 80,000. So that's a pretty big expense to take on for now. We are leaving some vacancies in key areas. The arena managers should help us get butts in seats, hopefully. And then actually just projects. That's not necessarily helpful. But we do have coaches, 2 coaches in place, even though they are poor. It's something. Right now our budget is very tight, so we'll have to do what we can. We're already down 400,000 and decreasing. Now look at our squad. We actually have really 8 players that can play, and then nobody else. So we really need to set it up as an 8-man rotation. It's clear where we are lacking, as we have 3 point guards, a shooting guard, 2 small forwards, but only 2 post players. So if we are going to add to the roster, it's absolutely going to be a post player of a similar quality to the other guys we have to help the competitiveness of our team. I don't know what the limit is, but based on what I've seen on the roster, there appears to be a limitation on the number of non-European players that you can have. And we have one right now on the roster that is just a 1-star player, and that's Tyrone Nash, and here we are getting an offer for him, and they want to give us cash. Their offer is that $33,600. We could try to counter-offer that, but you know what? I don't want to lose this opportunity. I think this is a great chance to get rid of somebody who we don't need. Ooh, hello, negotiation time. Negotiation status. I think we want to negotiate slightly. Our buyout clause is 44K. So obviously we need to come in towards that. Let's just try to get a little bit more out of this. I don't think negotiation is going to be our strong suit. Let's see what happens if we try a 38.4. Okay, they came up a little bit. They're giving us less time to negotiate. See, I should have just accepted. Can I accept that? I mean, there's the offer. I'll take that. Shoot. Okay, well, lesson learned. See, I didn't really want to counter offer because I wanted to get them sold. And yeah, now we just missed out on 35,000 and somebody off the roster that wasn't going to get any playing time. So I actually coach varsity basketball, and right now I don't have the time to get into the deep dive of learning my team and finding a play style that suits them. How I always do it is offensively. I find what players I have, and then I build an offense around that. I have certain play styles that I never go to. I never go to a triangle or Princeton offense, but I do have a number of various options and speed at which we play, inside, outside, what we aim for, how we space the court, how much we use screens or pick and rolls. All of that depends on the personnel. But defense is one thing that I'm pretty consistent on, that I try to shape and mold my teams into. But for this game, I'm not going to bother getting into it right now. But there are a decent amount of options on how to set your team up. And I like that is there. Defensively, what do we have for this one as well? Yeah, so you can key in on certain players. As you go through, you have your different pairings, so who's going to guard who. I like that because that is definitely something that I very much like to tweak. I like to get certain defenders on certain offensive players on a pretty regular basis. We have our basic schemes, our aggression level, which I always like to keep that up. I used to keep it like maximum aggression levels, and it led to a bit too many trips to the foul line. Doing that for certain teams, it works wonderfully because they can handle themselves on their aggression level and control the foul side of things and turn it into a lot of turnovers and a lot of fast break buckets. But they don't have that self-control. My oh my, can it get ugly pretty fast. And then you're spending a lot of time trying to work the referees to be more on your side. I don't like that there's only 3 options on the aggression level. For low to average to high, that's it. There's no in between. That's a little disappointing that it doesn't scale as a bar more, or at least have 5 options where you could be somewhere in between average to high aggression. Something a little more mellow, or a little more on the aggressive side, as opposed to just straight up attack. But okay, I still like that there's a multitude of options. We're certainly not going to full court press for now. We'll just Let them play as is, normal press. Well, let's see that first preseason match. Alright, so team introductions. Of course, nobody's here. It's preseason, and I don't think we would be in our stadium. We're not. We're on the road for this one. But it's cool, the stadium view on how that's built, how that's set up, as we get into this very first look at the match engine. Looks like you have options to skip entire quarters to play through. Of course, no stats right now and no info to go off of, as this is their first game. Okay, so this is kind of the play-by-play. The arena is more of a background thing. We have our tactics, we have substitutions, we have individual instructions we can assign. I have timeouts, just a couple available. I'm assuming that maybe the league has specific rules about timeouts, because 2 timeouts is certainly not enough. I know for my league, I get 3 fulls and 2 30s for the game. I can use them all in the first quarter if I'd like. Playing quarters or halves here. I'm assuming it's quarters. Yes, it is 10-minute quarters. So actually the same amount of time that we play. We have a shot clock. We are trailing 4-0 here early on, but I'm not too worried about that one. So looks like we have kind of evaluation of how the players are playing. That's good, especially as you're not getting a whole lot of feedback with this type of text-based. Oh, we do have a 2D view. Okay, so we have summary, we have our stats as you go through team by team. Okay, there's a larger text view of the plays, what's going on, who's on the court. And finally, let's check out the 2D view with the text at the bottom. This is definitely the screen that I would spend more time on, but of course the summary and stats are going to be important to understand how things are going. We are in yellow here. We do have player faces. That was a free throw. Okay, a little odd that everybody's hovering and moving for the free throw, but okay. Try to go for the fast break, but we reset there and drop really deep. Not sure why. Flyers kicks out to Lightfoot. Henry McCullough is going to get the short floater from the right elbow. And that was our first score. First score of the game. So as far as sports manager games go, my early analysis of this one is, your game engine is not the most ideal. It's not a major, as Flowers gets in close, right hand block and misses close, ouch. We're very much the inferior team in this matchup. This is not league, this is preseason, and we are up against a team from another nation that is quite a bit stronger than we are. So it's really showing on the scoreboard early on, but as we try to get things moving along here, and of course, like I said, I didn't adjust tactics. But as far as sports management games go, the game engine leaves a lot to be desired, because we have some control over things, but presentation, there's no 3D view. The 2D view is a bit on the limited side, but the nuts and bolts, the core of this game for me is absolutely what's happening on the day-to-day basis of building your roster, building your team, your franchise. For me, I would absolutely be in the game mode that we are in right now. The game mode where you are taking one team, and I would absolutely want to do a EuroLeague situation exactly like what I've set up here, where you're starting in the second tier, building your franchise up to make the first tier, and then building your franchise up to make the European competitions where you're playing on a larger scale, because there's actual growth. There's something happening. Without a really strong match engine, I don't know if I would want to be playing as the Portland Trailblazers and just play, or as the Oregon Ducks and just play collegiate basketball. They would have their interest, but I don't know how long that interest would hold for me personally. But having a playthrough of this style, where you are climbing the ladder and getting into European competitions, that then also, you're adding layers by doing that. And for me, the nuts and bolts of this game is that day-to-day operation of building the club, building the roster, building the staff, building the finances. That combination of factors is where this game shines. The game match engine, honestly, I'd be skipping quarters a lot of the time, because this doesn't leave as much. But of course, I'm not fully invested into this team. A, it's preseason. B, I haven't tweaked the tactics. C, I haven't signed players. The more I get into those things, the more I'm going to care about what's happening on the court here and want to manage my side. So there's absolutely a trade-off on how that's going to go, how that's going to look, as we can't even manage to get a defensive rebound here. Absolutely ugly defense. Nice inbounds there to set up the fast break, but then we end up kicking it out anyway instead of taking the chance in low, where you could potentially draw the foul or convert an offensive rebound and go, and then we turn the ball over. So yeah, not smart team basketball right now. You got an outside three wide open, ready to happen, and instead of kicking it out, we take the shot under duress from the elbow and give up an easy rebound, and ball goes the other way. So yeah, there's this is a team that needs some support, needs some tactical changes, needs some roster changes. There's a lot left to be desired. They are getting their butts absolutely handed to them. But this would be a fun one to build up. Okay, so here's where we're at so far, folks. This is the game, first look. This is what we're going to get for now. I have looked at another sports management basketball game recently. I've looked at another strategy game recently, and I have a second strategy game, so a fourth game in 2 weeks that I'm going to be doing a first look on in about 48 hours from now. That's 4 options. I'm going to give it a little bit of time to see what happens with you, the audience. Which of these 4 is going to have the most views? Which of these 4 is going to have the most likes? Which of these 4 is going to have the most comments that say, I would love to see a series on this game? So please take a look. If you haven't seen the other first look videos, go hop on over to the channel. I will not name any of those here, as I am obviously presenting to you International Basketball Manager 23 in this video. But one of these 4 is likely to get turned into a channel series, and which one is going to depend on your reaction. So let me know in the comments below if this is something you would like to see more of. Like I said, this one, strong suit is not necessarily the match engine, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes, which leads to a whole lot of gameplay potential. And I think I would probably stay right here with Kirkheim as our go-to for this series, if it is going to be the series. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.